Well, good morning, everybody. I just got dropped off by Vanessa, shuttle driver, hostel owner in Salisbury, Connecticut. Last time we spoke, the rains were coming, and the next day was a washout. So unfortunately, I had to take a zero, but I'm back on trail today, and happy for that. But we got a lot of work ahead of us today. Today we're climbing three pretty significant mountains. And the first one is Mount Everett. No, I didn't say Mount Everest. Mount Everett. And it's a gradual yet semi-steep 4.5 mile uphill, which you just started. And following that mountain, we'll have another mountain called Mount Race. And then following that mountain, we'll have Bear Mountain, which is like straight up nasty rocky. So overall 16 plus day today, lots of climbing. But once we get past those 3 big climbs, then we'll start tapering off and going back downhill towards Salisbury. So I am walking from north to south today. So I'm sorry I'm out of breath, but there is no flat to talk from. It's all gonna be uphill. So I hope everybody's having a great day, and we will see you down the path. Have a bit of a hiking partner, young lady who's staying at the hostel with me today, or stayed last night, and hiking the same section today. I'll put a picture up so y'all can see her. Young lady named Morgan, and we shared phone numbers. I'm sure we'll be separated, but it's nice to know you got someone around you if you need some help. So let's move on and make it a great day. All right, I think we come to our first viewpoint. Ready for it? Oh, it's just a big cloud. It's kind of cool though, because you can see mountain right there. So we're higher than that mountain, and these clouds are just kind of like a sea or a lake of clouds below us. And you can see the sun pushing and doing its job, trying to burn all this stuff off for us. I hope it does, because it'd be a shame to climb these 3 big hills and not have a view. And I know there's some really nice views from up here. So hopefully as time passes, we'll get some burn off and it'll be just fine. But that's still a pretty cool picture. It's a bit different. That's where we came from, folks. And this is where we're going. I stopped here hoping to have a view again for you, but unfortunately, kind of the same scenario. We are higher. Maybe you can tell we've picked up a fair amount of elevation. You see some mountains below us in the distance. And again, just that lake of clouds is kind of lingering down there between Mount Everett, which I'm standing on, and whatever mountain that is out there. Looks like you could just walk across it, get to the next mountain. I wished it was that easy. Of course, again, you have the sun out there doing its job. It's working on it. I bet before the day's over, we're gonna have us a nice view. There's a couple of lakes. It's called the Twin Lakes, actually. Like two lakes that just sit beside each other, and there's like a land bridge that's between the two. And they're pretty prominent, you know, so you almost see them from every viewpoint under normal conditions. So it'd be a shame not to be able to see that a little bit. But I got a feeling, I mean, it's just getting warm and everything's drying up. Of course, all the trail is wet. The rocks are, I don't see if you can just tell, but the rocks are shiny. They just got rained on hard yesterday. But I'd say by the end of this day, afternoon at least, everything's gonna be really nice. Temperatures are not too hot today. You know, after hiking in the mid 80s to high 80s, this is really a blessing to be out here. It's probably low 60s right now, and we won't get much higher than a 70, low 70s today, I don't think. So yeah, this is pretty good. All right, that's the update for right now. We'll keep you posted. I'm gonna keep on trying to make miles and try to find some views and not slip on any wet rocks. That's my plan. All right, folks, check back with you soon. We just continue to slowly gain elevation, and I think we're kind of up in the clouds a little bit now, but we've made it to a shelter called Glen Brook Shelter. I'm not going to go down there because I really don't have a need or purpose to. But there is a shelter right down there. Looks like probably a good place to take shelter if you're at the end of the day. Of course, we're not. We're still pretty close to the beginning of our day, and a fair amount of work ahead of us, honestly. I sense that we're getting closer to the top of Mount Everett, and we have officially gone into what they call it Mount Everett State Forest Park, and they got rules and all that sort of stuff, but it's nice. It's a nice area for sure, and I look forward to getting up here to the top and getting the first of 3 big mountains checked off. Still pushing up. Reached a bit of a parking lot, so you could drive this far up. That's good, giving access to a lot of people. Okay, it says Mount Everett is 0.6 miles yet up, and then after that we're going to Mount Race. That's 2.3 miles, and it doesn't even have Bear Mountain on there, but we got some work to do, but not much to Mount Everett. So it's like I said, it's about 4.5 miles up, and we've come 4. So let's get it done. Up the hill, of course. We're getting close. We saw some pretty azaleas back there, wild azaleas. Got some pines. We're getting real close to the peak of Mount Everett. Okay, I think we've made it. Looks like there was previously like a fire tower here. You can see the pedestals, and yeah, here we go. Mount Everett summit, 2,602 feet elevation. Please stay on the trail. Okay. Well, it's a shame we don't have the fire tower anymore, because I don't think it's going to be much of a view unless we can get a lot higher. You see some mountain range out there just above the tree line, but because of the trees and tree line right here on this flat, there's just not much of a view. But I see this sometimes where you think there's not a view, you go a little bit further and you find a spot and there's a little bit better view. So if we find something a little better, we'll see it. I'll definitely share it with you. All right, everybody, we're now headed off of Mount Everett. A little sharper downhill than it was coming up. In fact, it's so they've actually added some support here. You see these, I guess they're almost like railroad ties, 6x6s, or even bigger, that they have built into the rocks, which is pretty cool, actually. Not sure how they do that. It's like they're just tapping the rocks and then bolting the wood steps onto the rocks. Pretty cool. Sure makes it easier, and I guarantee it makes it a ton safer than these wet rocks that are around. There, check those out. That's pretty neat. All right, we're gonna make it downhill. I'm sure we'll level off a little bit, then we're gonna be climbing up to Mount Race. So we're headed uphill now, and have been for a little bit. We're about a half a mile from the summit of Mount Race, and slowly making progress. This is a little bit sharper, tougher climb, I think, where the climb up Mount Everett was obviously very gradual, over 4.5 miles to the top, and it's unfortunate. This really wasn't any views once you got to the top. So hopefully it's better at Mount Race, but we're a half a mile from the summit, and we're about 10 miles to the end of the day. So we're 6 miles from the beginning, our start. About 10 more miles back down to Salisbury, and a half a mile to get up here to the top of Mount Race. So let's get up here and hopefully we'll find a nice view. Okay, everyone, we've made it to the top of Mount Race, and there are some distant views. Unfortunately, the cloud cover still making it kind of hard to see. You can see the tops of these mountains over there, and this is where we came from. Over there you can see the top of Mount Everett, which is what we came off of. It's the highest of the peaks we have. So there you go. Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Great, thank you. Nice to see a fellow hiker. It's going in the other direction. Yeah, these rocks, you can almost imagine these kind of bubbling up as lava or something, and then slowly cooling. glacier. I don't know much about rocks. You guys know that. Rocks and flowers. I am not an expert. That's for sure. All right, everybody. If I see any better view, then I'll certainly stop and get some pictures. Typically from that rock we were on, I think you can get almost 360 view off that one, just to the crest of the mountains in the distance. You still have to take pictures over top of this tree line, but so the views are not fantastic for sure. But I think when we get on over here a little bit, we're going to be out on some ledges, and they're very open ledges, so I think from there we should have some views. All right, let's see what we get into. All right, folks, we're still coming down off of Mount Race, I guess, and a little bit of a cairn here for some odd reason. And we do have a little bit of a view. Might be the best one we've had so far today. You still see it's the aftermath of the rains we had yesterday are still kind of lingering with fog. Just it's kind of hanging and on the mountaintops ahead of us. At least we can see the mountains this time. That's good. Very good. All right, we'll keep on progressing. All right, folks, bringing you the best I got here. This is it's windy up here. It's cool up here. Those are the twin lakes that I referenced earlier. Finally got a view of them. Typically you can see them a number of times throughout the day. Maybe we will again, but it's just been kind of socked in a little bit with the weather that came in yesterday. I can't believe I actually thought about hiking yesterday, because I can only imagine how rough it might have been up here on this cliff edge, you know, in the midst of a rainstorm. It's really windy right now and cool. Feels like, you know, maybe you've been out mowing grass and you come in all of a sudden into an air conditioning house and you're expected to be like 70 and it's like 64. It's like, ooh, that's a little cool, but it feels nice. Tell you what, the first step's a doozy here, ain't no doubt. This is steep, steep, steep. Well, I'm glad we got some views today for sure. Considering all the climbing and the work, it's nice to be rewarded with a little view here or there. All right, let's keep on moving. Well, that bird's having a good time with the wind. Same view, just a little bit further down. What we're doing now is we're just walking down the ridge line. There'll be some ledges, I think, that will continue, probably similar to what I have, but of course we'll be looking at the same view as we go, maybe just a slight different perspective. And it's nice day up here. Is a harsh downhill for sure. I think I'll go this way. Oh. All right, we'll press on and check back with you. It's a good view of the ledges that we're walking on. When I got dinner last night at the grocery store, I basically bought a sandwich. I actually bought 2 sandwiches. Had one for dinner last night, and brought the other one with me. So got a Reuben sandwich on the trail. Very nice. All right, folks. We're still kind of coming down. We're pretty close to the bottom of the last mountain, and we're going to be heading up the next mountain, which is Bear Mountain. What a beautiful stream, huh? How clear. Absolutely pristine. How about that? This is a perfect stream. All the green moss around the sides. You got this big rock bridge that's been laid out across. Very cool. Very nice. All right. So we've got 2 down, right? We got Mount Everett down, Mount Race down, 2 of the 3. And we're going to be heading over and start climbing. I think we got about 2.5 miles. Let's call it 2.5 miles to the top of Bear Mountain. So that's the work that's still left for us today, the big work. Of course, from there we still got a pretty good walk down and ultimately to Salisbury's. But and I don't want to downplay the down, because my guess is the down on the other side is going to be just as harsh as the up on this side, which is going to be pretty straight. So honestly, between the last of the total 3, this is the one I've been kind of most concerned about, because I think it's going to be a pretty sharp, intense, not long, but pretty intense climb. So let's go get it done. Okay, everybody, we have made it to the border. I think we'll probably, when we get across this creek, we'll probably see a better sign on the Connecticut side, but this is the sign that's saying "Welcome to Massachusetts." So this is the way we came from this morning, because remember, we started north and we're hiking back south. So we got a few miles to finish up in Connecticut, but not many. I just passed a couple of guys that I've been hiking around. They gave me all the information on what I'm facing, and they told me pretty much what I already knew, is that the climb we have now is going to go up to Bear Mountain, and this is pretty extreme. It's going to be rocky, craggy. It's going to be climbing, hands, feet, climbing. But once we get there, then when we head off the other side, it's going to be smooth cruising. So we got some work to do to get up to the top. A lot of work. So we won't get done unless we get started. Let's get after it. Beautiful water. I passed the sign a little earlier that said that we were walking through the ancestral lands of the Mohican Indians. And boy, what a beautiful piece of country the Mohicans had here, for sure. I mean, the water is pristine, beautiful. Look at this country here, how rugged. It's something. This little area here with all the green moss on the rocks and the waterfalls and the clear streams. It's like a little enchanted woods or something. It's just almost too perfect. It's amazing. Well, look at that pool. Beautiful. All right, we just passed. You guys saw the picture of the Connecticut, Massachusetts border. That was official. That's the Connecticut sign. They do a good job on signs. So we are now headed up to Bear Mountain. We're about 4/10, which is not far to the top. The problem is it's 4/10 and it's gonna go just like that. Let me see if I can kind of give you sizing up. I mean, here's flat and we're going to go up there. It's gonna be a nasty climb, one I've been kind of not looking forward to, but we'll just have to bear down and make the best of it and see how fast I can get her done. So we'll shut her down from here and I'll catch you at the very top. All right, so that's where we came from, and we got to get up and over this, and eventually we got to get up there, I'm pretty sure. So that's where we're going. We just got to figure out our steps, that's all. We'll be all right. Don't worry about me. We're getting there. Oh boy. All right, everybody, we made it. This is the top of Bear Mountain. 3 for 3, Everett race. And now we finished Bear Mountain. You saw my picture. I had some nice people there who were willing to take my picture from the top, and there's a little bit of a view off the back behind me. It was exactly the same view that we've been looking at with the Twin Peaks and stuff like that. So, or excuse me, Twin Lakes. So I didn't want to stand in front of them and obstruct their views any longer, as we've already taken a lot of video of the Twin Lakes. And the lady there I was talking to, real nice, she was telling me she actually lives right there on the Twin Lakes, so she's looking down on her property, I guess, or you know, where her house sits. That's kind of cool. But all right, the climb up to Bear Mountain was the worst of it all, you know, to be honest with you. And it was just steep and rocky and difficult, but it wasn't far, you know. And it's just like suck it up for 4/10 of a mile, keep on pushing on, and you're there, you know. So it's not as scary as, you know, often gets made out to be. So I have to check the app to know for sure, but we've got a few miles now, but back to Salisbury. But hey, how are you? it shouldn't be too far. So we started today at mile 1523, and we'll end the day at 1507. So it's essentially a 16-mile day today. And I think, again, the worst part of it is behind us. And we've got a few miles to kick it off this hill and ultimately back down to flat land and into Salisbury. All right, folks, we'll catch up with you a little bit further down the path. All right, everybody. Got a nice view. We're only about 2 miles from Salisbury. Very nice. The little spot was called Lion's Head. Like I say, we're only a couple miles from Salisbury, so I'm sure I had a couple people sitting there, of course, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who hike up out of Salisbury just to come get that view right there. Very nice. Beautiful. All right, folks, we're coming back into Salisbury now. Look at this old cemetery. It's a huge cemetery. There's some really old stones I saw towards the middle and the front. But look at the size of some of these headstones, monuments. That one says Scoville. They must have been pretty important. Somebody with money. And that one looks like it's basically more like a tomb, right? It's not even buried. I assume that the casket is inside that, above ground. Very well kept. The whole town's this way. Very nice. All the speed limits are like 35, and everybody does 35. And I don't think I've seen a cop. Very nice, very pretty, very quaint, and very expensive, I would say. The barber who cut my hair told me that Merrill Street lives not too far from here. The area's getting pretty pricey. All right, we should be in town here in a minute. All right, everybody, dinner is served. Got a personal pizza. Setting out for the last time having dinner. Be heading out, going north tomorrow. So big day today. It was shorter in terms of miles versus yesterday, versus the last video, but it was overall 16 miles, but it was a long 16 miles with those 3 climbs, and it made it pretty tough. So overall, it's a good day though. We got some good miles done and good weather, and made good progress. And I guess the highlight for the day, of course, is completing Connecticut and moving into Massachusetts. So we'll be fully into Massachusetts when we start tomorrow, and look forward to pressing on. We won't be long until we'll be in Vermont. So hope everybody's having a great day, and thank you for following along. We'll talk to you first thing in the morning.